Good morning and welcome in North Shipping in Oslo at the beautiful V.Group booth. I'm Andrea Zito, I'm the technical officer of the group. I have here with me Craig Easom with Fathom News, Mario Dogliani with Sea Europe, the Association of European Yards and Marine Equipment Manufacturer, and Eric Dahl of Wärtsilä Eniram Wärtsilä, or founder of Eniram. Anyhow, this is the panel, and we are here early morning. We managed to sneak in despite some blockages at the entrance. So the show is nice and empty now and feels a little bit weird. And we have been around, all of us, yesterday, and I think is a great show. Lot of discussion about disruptive and other things.
What I write about and what I see changing is it's more the transformation.
Yeah.
It's less disruption than a thought process about the changing way that
Absolutely.
the business is being enacted. It's doing business more effectively, doing it more efficiently, and having more engagement with a lot more different players in the whole supply chain, commercially and technology.
This is nice you say so, because it's really, I think we are witnessing what will be the transformation of our industry in the next 10 years. Rather than disruptive, I would say cooperative or proactive.
Evolution. It's an evolution. Yeah.
I just let's think to connected ship, for instance. They are starting, and they will change dramatically, significantly, positively our sector. I think that this is more or less around here, and will be more and more in the future.
But that depends what we define as digital,
Right?
perhaps, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think because the ships are connecting this industry, we're going to look 10 years back and it's going to look very different from what it looks today.
Yeah.
So every industry is at the moment going through a major change, but I think shipping, because the fact that it has been less connected, will see even more of a change. And I'm kind of surprised being here that I was really hoping already, now looking at for years and waiting for the big boom to happen. We were expecting to see startups and new elements coming up like mushrooms after the rain, but that's not really the case yet. I think it still is a bit of the same old.
The fact is that there are 60, 70,000 ships out there, and the connected ship is a small really connected ship is a small percentage of the whole lot.
Put that also down to the economics or the
Absolutely.
industry's strain at the moment.
Absolutely.
Because older ships are not connected, but older ships are not being scrapped.
The big disruption will happen not because of digital. The data are available on board the ships, because the ships will be connected. And this is, I think, is changing. Will change completely the whole framework we are working. And we were discussing at the various panels recently. I mean, I've not seen any change on the legal framework around the maritime law and shipping. Maritime law is done with the principle that the captain is alone at sea, and the ship is completely insulated.
That is important. In fact, there will be these changes. Discussion is starting next week at IMO, but it will.
Already next week.
They start, yes, at the MSC. They start looking at if and what to change in the legislation to make it possible or lean, having connected and even autonomous
I believe
shipping.
that in the IMO, the discussion's more a discussion about whether they should have a discussion.
I think it is decided.
Yeah.
Yes, but. And that is very important, and I take it will happen. And it will happen. Legislator will do. They will ask things to us, industry. Fine, the usual framework. But what we should be pushing is on the other side the skills of the people. We need to have people ready. 10 years is nothing.
True.
And in 10 years from now, the skills that people will have to have, not only on board.
As a technology provider, I need to take responsibility because the systems are going to direct control. We are basically in some elements already leaving the crew out. If that system fails, who has the responsibility?
Well, if you're not having
the same way
captain,
like you, the responsibility really shifts from the captain both to the short side and the intelligence.
And the insurance companies will have a lot of say in that because they're going to look for some level of liability.
Absolutely.
Along any path of digitalization, reduced crewing, autonomous ships, anything like that.
I'm not
There's
saying
going to be that level of liability that has to be addressed.
Insurance, I mean, insurance has to change because it's a big part of the risk management of the sea venture. You are one of the pioneer of the decision support system. I mean, because data without an algorithm that is condensing, processing the data and giving you
some way of understanding the data.
And I mean, then you don't do nothing with the data. But I'm looking forward to see decision support tool for the captain, for the people on board, and for the people ashore as well.
But these decision support systems are changing from being passive, we just kind of give you the data, you make all the decisions, into, well, let's use the right word, I would say it's really changing to artificial intelligence, because that's what we are really talking about.
Self-learning.
It's a kind of second head for the captain who is going to be helping him make decisions.
I'm surprised that I've not seen a lot of people talking about
or
doing things about for the human element on board the ships.
But one of the things, going back to what you're saying about how the regulations or sort of like the law of the sea is, you know, written in history and it needs to be looked at and changed. But so do charter parties.
Yeah.
By the same argument, because if you've got a charter party that says, you know, you must have this particular trim.
Yeah.
But then you can find that the optimum trim for a particular voyage is to go down by the head slightly.
Yeah.
You're immediately opposing. You're immediately broken your charter party.
Absolutely, and you are not compliant anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there will be a lot of changes. But I mean, the other day I was discussing and what I was thinking that I came in this industry when. I think we are quite fortunate that we are seeing in one generation two big changes. 40 years ago, automation came into the industry, and there were a lot of changes expected. I mean, you were saying you don't need anymore the crew in the engine room, and we still have the crew in an engine room.
Yeah, but that was my question. I wasn't back in the industry then, so did it actually change then that much? So I'm also trying to think of this big change now. Is it really going to be the change that big as we believe?
So things are changing.
Things are changing, but I mean, I think that there is a need for a more adaptation to. Again, I see a lot of. Is also quite natural. All the industry is targeting the big groups with big money that can invest. Carnival, Maersk, others that can invest in the offshore, high-end crews. They are connected. They have the means of investing. There are 60,000 ships out there with 20 crew.
I used to buy a manual. They were called Haynes manuals in the UK. Go and buy this manual. I had my car, and I love nothing better than tinkering around and getting my hands dirty. Now I lift the lid of a car and have a look in and going, I'm not touching that.
I have an electric car, and I open up the hood, and you can put your baggage there because there is no engine, because the engine is at the wheel.
No,
so
that's
going to happen with ships as well.
You are touching a good point, because one thing that is not about digital and etc. It's something more connected to hardware. What we see here, I start seeing in the industry, is the more concrete discussion and developments towards hybrid type of propulsion.
Well, I think that's going to push things. We've already seen. I mean, there's examples here in Oslo with electric propulsion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is really going to, in my opinion, that's going to really hit the short sea shipping, local shipping. And not only that, I don't think you're going to have trusted automation without very good redundant electrical systems. I think that there's always going to be a little bit of a question over about having an automated ship that's powered by a diesel engine.
Yeah.
There's always going to be that question. But if you can have the trusted, electric systems on an electric-powered vessel, then that is only. If you look at the two examples that Kongsberg are working on at the moment, that they're saying are going to be unmanned autonomous ships eventually, they're electric power. It's electric propulsion.
Yeah. It is, but this is, and again, this is the automotive industry is bringing us the investment and the technology needed for the development of batteries that are concentrating
that is
power.
one of the big changes, the battery technology.
This is a big disruption. I see not in the digital, but in the hardware side.
Yeah.
But still going back to Andreas' point, I think it's going to be a big change for some of the parts of the industry. But we go back to those 60,000, the core fleet of the vessels, the bulk vessels. Before they're going to be electrically propulsed, we're going to see a couple of years going.
Right. But I mean, but I'm not talking about the electric propulsion. But I mean the power import. You can switch off your engines and your generator and be your 12 hours import on batteries. I mean, this will come quite.
I've already seen examples of that being discussed, where you take out one of the auxiliary engines,
and
you put in a battery pack or a.
Absolutely. This is something that will change quite rapidly the industry.
But I think as we increasingly see vessels getting connected, and we see them becoming an integrated part of a manufacturer's supply chain, then we also see youngsters coming in who are more engaged in this connected society as well. There are these pressures that are driving the shipping industry to change. So you've got the environmental regulations, they're pushing a large part of that.
Absolutely.
You've got the commercial drive to find that last dollar of saving,
of course,
in efficiency. And then you've got the societal pressure. You've got our kids, our grandkids, who are beginning to take a rather different view about all industries, including the maritime industry, and saying, no, we want it to be more responsible, we want it to be greener, we want it to be part of what we've got in society.
It's so true. And those even small things I mentioned, like the small incremental last dollars or cents of savings, if you take it industry-wide, that's 20 to 50 billion of basically money opportunity every year. So the kind of opportunity, and myself
carbon footprint as well.
How much we go, and coming myself from the industry 10 years ago from the outside, I think it's a fascinating the central role the shipping industry plays in the whole global kind of economy, and the changes that we are making, or have a possibility to make, how they basically influences the whole global economy and mankind, and I think that is a fascinating time to be part of the industry.
I think that we need to work a lot on still on the human element on board the ship.
Also from the safety point of view. Efficiency certainly. Also from the safety point of view, we are seeing that already. The ships which are connected allow a shore to have a situation awareness that was inconceivable 5 years ago. And again, it's totally true. In Europe, we are building those ships. This is basically the passenger ship sector because it's the most advanced, the most rich. But
it's also the industry, part of the shipping industry, that's facing the consumer.
Absolutely.
Talking
correct.
cargo.
It is a matter of time. There will be an infrastructure. Our government will make an infrastructure at a certain point. You cannot expect every single ship owner to have its own solution. It's impossible. There will be a kind of motorways of electronic data done by the government or whatever, and there all the world will be.
Yeah, but I mean, what we said on our way that the thing of having this big data, having the ship connected, will allow us. And this is a big strain that we as an industry and we as an industry player ourselves, we need to start looking at the ship is not anymore an insulated ship. We are not managing one ship, but we are start managing fleet. Because the fleet is, you can have more, how you say, consistent approach. There is more transparency, there is more accountability, and all this goes in de-risking the operation and having a better quality in the all aspect of of the process.
How do you see this kind of safety side? Because I think it's a fascinating part, and coming back to the earlier discussion about the legislation as well. That do you think it will go more the kind of airline industry way, or which way do you see the kind of shipping industry taking?
I think so. I think we have already seen some examples of shore center, fleet operation center, where the data come and three or four experts from the ship owner are there 24 hours to provide assistance, in normal operation, save time and money, and to provide assistance in kind of difficult situation.
The seaways are getting more congested. If you look at the satellite path of the Strait of Malacca or the Channel is a nightmare. I mean, you have ships. I mean, it doesn't take a huge. The technology is there, for a ship approaching the Channel to be taken into under control from a shore center.
So like a virtual pilot, you mean?
Yeah, like a virtual pilot. I mean, because the pilots, I mean, absolutely, but very in a. I mean, because it's a support system. Exactly.
That's something you can. The whole industry can copy a little bit from the cruise industry here.
Absolutely.
I was thinking of Carnival, where you talked about the operational centres.
Yeah.
The captains on the ships. They don't just work as captains on the ships.
Absolutely.
They work as advisors in their operational centres, and they rotate.
Absolutely.
So they have a period on the ship, a period actually ashore, and they support their colleagues who are the captains on the ship.
Exactly, it's team.
So it's a team.
As Andrea was saying, will be no longer. It is already in some ship types. It's no longer the ship alone.
Yeah.
It's teaming with the
shore,
with the other captain in other
Then
ships.
if you've got a captain ashore, then can that captain then assume some of the liability that we traditionally have?
This is the whole framework, legislation, legal framework shall change. But with all the evolution of the society, you can have. I don't see the autonomous ship 100%, but a ship with some shifting, some decision on the shore side. Yes. I mean, and also because the operation on board are more and more complex, so you want to increase safety, consistency, and etc. You have to have a standard approach. And
I don't think I'd like to go back to sea and become that last man on board.
The last man on board. Well, I don't know.
What you are saying, I think it is already a problem today. It's not something 10 years from now, because when we are working with companies like Royal on the kind of remote operations support, like supporting the captains, we are monitoring the whole fleets, looking at the weather to spot if there is something, a potential hazardous situation, so we can advise the captains on board proactively. We already there come to a very practical legal risk now today, and that's it. If we see something, do we part of the international sea
you
regulations?
become accountable.
Are we accountable to tell the other vessels as well?
Yeah.
Not only Royal, but if there is Carnival vessels in the same region, do we need to pick the phone and call the captain?
Yeah.
And it's already now a legal kind of problem. The people on the sea know it, and they have their kind of rules how to do it. But we, the engineers, technology people on the shore side.
And for sure that we will have a better shipping and with all this technological support, but we need to frame it in the right way.
The thing takes longer is always the human part.
Yeah.
Because technology is there since long time.
Okay, I think that we are almost coming to the end. I thank you so much for taking your time to be here so early. I think that it's been a fantastic and productive discussion. I think I really appreciate you being here, and your contribution is fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.